Well, howdy, physics sleuths and inquisitive souls, and welcome again to another lecture of dynamic gravity. So, today I'm going to throw a prophecy out there, and we're going to test my mettle. We're going to see just how close I am, or how delusional and insane I really am. And the beauty of it is this prophecy that I'm predicting, I believe is only going to happen in 2, maybe 3 months. Not very long. We're approaching the final end, the final run of this whole thing that our creator God has, set in motion a long time ago. Okay? And basically, here, I'll show you. But first, you know me, before we get rolling, I gotta get my head in the game. I'm fucking Irish. You know what that means. If I want to boost my mental capacity to the max, I'm gonna have to have a little something, little sauce. Soup me up. Don't judge. You don't know me. You don't know what I'm like when I get this.
I got wasted cause I didn't want to deal with myself tonight. My thoughts get drowned until I feel alright. I keep drinking till I'm someone I don't recognize. I got wasted cause I didn't want to deal with myself tonight. My thoughts get drowned until I feel alright. I keep drinking till I'm someone I don't recognize. I got wasted.
Yeah, baby. Good old Jackie D. My favorite. First liquor I ever got trashed on. I think I was like 15, stealing booze out of my foster father's liquor cabinet. And what do you know? He had a bottle of Jack. And I remember it was Halloween, and I got some for me and my girl. We got trashed that night. Good times for a 15-year-old. All right. So, let me show you this verse. This is important. Little one. Okay? You have to see what I've been working on to understand the methods of my madness. All right? So, this is back when I was given my first vision by God, like 6 years ago when I was in Germany. Okay? I had resolved myself to be a mortal enemy of God and to destroy God and to slay him because I did not think he was good. I'm sorry. I don't follow God. I don't follow Jesus. I don't follow religion. I don't give a damn, my son. I follow one thing in this world and universe only, and that is goodness. And it just so happens to be that God, Jesus, and religion are the most good things that I could ever imagine. That's why I'm their servant. No other reason. And if they go bad, I will not follow evil. I don't give a damn how powerful it is. It's not my way. If I die a fiery death, know this. I went down fighting, trying to do the right thing. And they failed miserably, but damn if I didn't try. So, this is back when the pandemic first started, right? And I'm noticing, I didn't really care. I mean, I haven't been sick in like 30-something years. I can't get sick. I've tried as a science experiment. I can't. It's impossible. God hooked me up with the God tier immune system. It is what it is. So I didn't give a shit. But the whole world was going nuts. And I'm like, this is crazy. Y'all are going nuts over some stupid bullshit like the flu. Y'all are going crazy. And so I looked up all the signs, the 7 signs in the world. This is what they are, right? First one, marks and sores for those who worship the beast and praise his image. And I'm like, well, shit, that sounds to me like the AIDS pandemic, because marks and sores, they get like purple lesions all over their bodies, the final stages of AIDS. And then they die. And as it turned out, that was the pandemic where Fauci rose and got his coveted position in the NIHD, whatever it is. Okay, so that's the rise of Fauci, the beginning of Fauci's legacy, and a disease that primarily attacked people that were homosexuals and IV drug users. Okay, and sex addicts. Not a whole lot of other people got the AIDS. I mean, I'm not saying no one ever did. Definitely a lot of people did, but in the grand scheme of things, percentage-wise, not that much. All right. So then we got the second. So I started looking, trying to attribute all these things. Say, okay, well, this is the first one, and that was back in 1981, right? So that's like 30 some odd years ago. So what if the next one is chronological? It makes sense, right? So the next one is seas turn red from blood. So I'm like, well, where the hell did this happen? And I remember Fukushima. And I remember when that happened, seeing images of the beaches around Japan that were blood red from all the fish that had died off from the nuclear, contamination. So I'm like, okay, close enough. I mean, it was a nuclear meltdown that affected the entire globe and has, tainted the Pacific Ocean for thousands of years. Sure, let's call that one of the signs too. Okay? We got the third side. Rivers turn red from blood. Okay? Now, I remember this one too. Almost like God put this in my mind. I remember seeing the video of when ISIS in 2015 murdered, like they say it was 2,000 Shiites. I believe it was closer to like 4,000 from the original reports and the video that came out of it. Like the dude, like ISIS said, they said straight up, God told us to do this. He said, if we do this, he'll legitimate our caliphate. So we did it. They executed like thousands of people in the river. And I saw the video. Dude had like a pistol, like a little pistol, just march him up to the dock in the back of the head and kick their corpse in the river, and it float down river. And the river flowed blood red for 3 days. He did this for 3 days to make it flow blood red. Okay. So then the fourth one, I'm like, what's this? Sun scorches man. Huh. So I look up. The only thing that really sounds palatable is like the 2017 eclipse, right? And it's chronological. As you can see, it's good. And there was a lot that happened in that eclipse. It was like the first one since 1918 to go coast to coast in America. The first one since 1776 to only hit America, the birth date of America. And it says like the butt of the beast in Empire of Darkness. So the butt of the beast, I'm thinking like they're going to make a joke of the beast. The beast is whoever, a godless government is the beast in the eyes of God. So the beast would be like Trump, let's say. Let's say the press would be making fun of Trump during this eclipse because he's looking at the eclipse without the eye blockers. And so the press is just going to mercilessly attack him for this and make him look like a clown because he did this. And it happened. So I personally think that was that sign, okay? And that eclipse comes back in later too to be important. And then we have 2017 again, Trump rise to power. Yeah, my bad. Okay, so Sun Scorches Man. Okay, that was that one. And then you have Butt of the Beast, Empire of Darkness, and my bad. That's 2 years later. And that is where Trump rose to power to allow Dr. Fauci gain functional research, right? So when Trump was in office, as soon as he got in office, Dr. Fauci pretty much went to Trump and petitioned him to approve gain of functional research because Obama wouldn't do it. Obama thought it was too dangerous. And so I don't know what deals were made with Trump to do this, but Trump did it. He approved the gain of function research, and that set everything in motion. It was all because of Trump. COVID happened because of Trump, 100%. Sorry. I'm not saying he hasn't done a lot of good things as president, but let's not forget he's also done some of the worst things ever. One of those being allowing Dr. Fauci to do his gain of function research, which led to the pandemic, all right? Now we got Euphrates runs dry as the sixth one, and in 2021, Euphrates ran dry, and like the lower portions of Iraq is dry. It's gone. They can't use it for agriculture anymore. It's dry. It's gone. It's all used up. Most of it's gone up in Syria. And the final one, the seventh angel poured his vial into the air, and through the air it spreads, and the voice from the throne says, "It is done." Huh. So an aerial pandemic from a vial, like from a laboratory, poured into the air and through the air spread. Aerial pandemic from a lab. Huh. Gee, I wonder what that could be. Oh, let me think. Probably COVIDs. Yeah, probably the COVIDs. Okay. So that begins the 7 year tribulation from the day that COVID eventually started spreading. Whatever that day was, we don't know yet. We're going to find out because it's 7 years to the day is when this whole 7 year tribulation ends. And it ends with the East destroying the West with nukes, basically having a 5 month long nuclear winter where 2/3 of the planet dies. And then after that, God has mercy, renews the planet for the survivors, and then everybody goes on, right? Living under God with the two witnesses working from God's spaceship, New Jerusalem hovering over Israel, with the power of the plagues destroying half of the survivors probably because they won't get behind God's plan. Sorry, we're not doing that no more. And the witnesses are the people that see all this happening and no one else sees it but the witnesses for some reason. Everybody's blinded to it but the witnesses. You could say I'm a witness. I feel like I'm a witness. I fit all the criteria of a witness. We'll see what God has planned though. Who knows? All right. So just so you know where I'm coming from with this, okay? This is stuff. Okay. So my prophecy is that according to my count of all the prophecies, everything has already happened except for pretty much the biggest thing, and that is the third temple needs to be rebuilt. And sometime during this process, Gog and Magog, which is supposedly Russia, is going to attack Israel. But God is going to turn their forces on themselves so they end up attacking themselves instead of Israel. Okay? And that is going to happen all at the same time during like the third temple's grand opening ceremony. And during this ceremony, you're going to have one of the invited guests is supposed to be Fauci, the false prophet. False prophet supposed to be there. And one of the antichrists, working against God. Could be Trump, could be Klaus Schwab, could be Larry Fink, could be a lot of people at this point. We don't know. But someone is going to be in this temple during some opening ceremony, okay? And they're going to make some stupid joke like, wow, there's so much gold here, it should be me in my temple. Sounds like a Trump joke to me, but at the end of the day, the witnesses that hear this are going to immediately know, oh shit, this is prophecy, this is bad. And then they're going to know this guy is the Antichrist. And that, this temple and everything's about to happen. And then it all happens like right at that moment, okay? Now, this is pretty much the final things that need to happen. So, what needs to happen? I said something's going to happen around December, okay? I don't know the exact date. It might be January. It might be November. But I believe by course of the timeline, what we know when COVID began and how long it will take for them to build the third temple is probably about 6 to 9 months. It's fair to say that that process is going to have to get kicked off very soon, or else all what I've seen could be wrong and I'm just a crazy kook. Okay? So, what has to happen is the rock of the dome, or the dome over the rock, the temple that the Islam had built over, one of their most holy places, where I think Muhammad went to go meet God, where Jesus went off to go meet God. It's all right here in this rock, okay? It's a very holy place. It is said that a prayer here on the Temple Mound is worth like 1,000 prayers anywhere else in the world. Very important real estate if you're into spirituality and religion, okay? No matter what religion you're in. All right? Now, I believe that what's going to happen is an earthquake is going to damage the dome over the rock. And this is supposed to be the sign that the Jews will know, okay, we have to build the third temple now. We have to start construction like today, okay? So they have to build the third temple, but first they have to get rid of the dome of the rock, and that's going to cause a lot of problems. So, but if an earthquake comes and destroys it first, this is going to solve a lot of problems because, first of all, some people see it as an act of God, and other people will say, oh, well, damn, the dome came down anyways. Either we have to rebuild it or let the Jews build their third temple, which they clearly really want to do right now, anyways. So, an earthquake destroying the dome over the rock would be very convenient and kick this off perfectly. Okay? It's not explicitly mentioned in the scripture that an earthquake will destroy the dome over the rock, but we can infer this from a few things that we're going to go into. Okay? Number one, let me see here. Okay. The dome of the rock, was severely damaged by earthquakes in 1808 and again in 846. The dome collapsed to an earthquake in 1115 and was rebuilt, 10 years later. Okay, and repaired. An earthquake of 1033 resulted in introduction of wooden beams to enforce the dome. So this dome over the rock has been hit by multiple earthquakes already. It is on a fault line. Okay, Jerusalem is on a fault line. It it is not unrealistic to think that a place that's on a fault line has been hit multiple times by earthquakes that have had this building damaged multiple times will not happen again. Especially looking at the time frame when you have one, two, like three, like four earthquakes in like a 200-year period. Okay, and here we are 1,000 years later. You could argue we're easily overdue and ripe for yet another earthquake to happen, and the timing would be immaculate, wouldn't it be? So that's that. Okay. Now for the scripture, we have some things like Ezekiel. Okay. That is what happened in that day when Gog attacks the land of Israel. So this is like during the grand opening ceremony I told you about, when all this stuff is going down this very same day. Okay, you have Russia and their allies attacking Israel for whatever reason, and at the same time, you have this opening ceremony going down where this Antichrist is making this joke about gold and the temple. All right. Now, when Gog attacks the land of Israel, and my hot anger will be aroused, declares the sovereign Lord. And my zeal and fiery wrath I will declare at that time there shall be a great earthquake in the land of Israel. And the fish in the sea, and the birds in the sky, and the beasts in the field, and every creature that moves along the earth, and all the people who face the earth, they tremble at my presence. Okay? The mountains will be overturned, the cliffs will crumble, and every wall will fail to the ground. Now, this is not talking about the earthquake that I'm talking about. This is talking about another earthquake that could be triggered from so many thermonuclear devices going off all around the world at once, kind of messing with fault lines. Because if it's going to happen right at the moment when the nukes are coming down, or Russia nukes all of NATO countries, like they promised to do like 30, 40 times now by my count, if they don't win this war in Ukraine, which they're not winning. And it's only a matter of time, really, because unfortunately Russia is fighting all of NATO and their weaponry and Ukraine at this point. And they know it, and they're pissed, and they feel like they've been robbed of the land of Ukraine that was theirs, and they're pissed. And Putin is old, and he's a psychopath, and he's crazy, and all it's going to take is one really bad day to push him over the edge, and he's going to push that button and start launching nukes. And you might be thinking, oh, well, this already happened, and the officers wouldn't let it happen. Why do you think it wouldn't happen again? Well, because Putin saw this coming. So he put in this automatic missile launch system that if it detects any radiation within Russia's borders, it automatically launches a doomsday device. Okay? So Putin doesn't need any fucking officers to prove it. All he needs to do is just set off a nuke in its own territory, and it's going to launch a doomsday. Gone. Can't be stopped. No one needs to approve it. All right. That's why he did that, so it wouldn't get shut down again. Okay. He wants to use the nukes. So that's not the earthquake we're talking about. Okay. Here's another earthquake mentioned in Zechariah. Okay, Ye will flee by the mountain valley, for it will extend Azel. And as you flee, you fled from the earthquake and the days of Uzzah, the king of Judah. The Lord, my God, will come, and the holy ones with him. So basically, we're saying there will be another thing that will happen, like this earthquake, that will, make you all flee and run in terror. Now, it doesn't explicitly say it will be an earthquake or when this earthquake is going to happen. This could be referencing the earthquake of Ezekiel. Or this could actually be referring to the earthquake that I think will destroy the dome over the rock. It's kind of interpretation. It's not really, it's hard to understand exactly what this verse refers to and if it's going to be attributed to this or not. We have one more though, Matthew 24, right? And ye shall hear in the final days, ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and see that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So this is basically, I think, Jesus saying, the final days going to be wars and rumors of war like we have going on right now. For the nation will rise up against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Diverse means diverse. So meaning there will be earthquakes all around the whole world going off like a lot, like way more often than they should. Okay? This is a sign of the end days. Okay? So, if we look at the recent earthquakes, we have tons of them. I mean, look, we got in just the last 30 days, man. In just the last 30 days, we got one that hit California, a 6.0 in Afghanistan, a 7.4 in Russia, a 7.8 in Russia, another one in Russia, 5.5 in India, a 6.4 in Bandu. I mean, this is just 1 month, guys. This is insane. This is not normal. Usually there's like one big earthquake, like maybe twice a year, and that's it. We're having them now literally like every single month, if not bi-monthly. Okay, this is getting to be kind of ridiculous. We are definitely having lots of earthquakes in diverse places. Okay. And if you look, here's my Great Tribulation community that I made on X, if you want to keep up with, kind of stuff. And every time I see something that I think is kind of related to this whole tribulation, like God doing this to it, like a test or whatever, I throw it in here, right? So we got, this super cyclone that's hit, Japan and Asia, like one of the biggest superstorms they've ever seen. Pretty crazy, right? We got the earthquake in Russia. We got tsunami from the earthquake in Russia. We got 70 killed on a mosque in Sudan. We got another, baptism ceremony in Nigeria, whatever. I'll go Charlie Brown, rest in peace. 7.5 earthquake off Kamachuda, Russia. What is this? Poland sends 40,000 troops to reinforce their border with Russia. We got Nepal's revolution. What do we got? Oh, that's not great. Look at that. That's beautiful. That is just beautiful, man. Beautiful. All right, 700,000 more troops deployed to Ukraine by Russia. Huge floods in India. The quake in Afghanistan. Landslides in Sudan. Global crash outs. Dude, you name it, bro. Here we go. Putin saying again, I will use nukes before I lose this war. Act accordingly. Nobody's paying attention. More and more trouble. We got earthquakes everywhere here. The Turkey earthquake. Trump orders stuff. Let me see. More and more earthquakes. Plane crashes. Lots of plane crashes. More plane crashes. More angels being seen in the sky. Kind of crazy, right? How does that? Because we're in Alabama. It's pretty crazy, right? We got so many more earthquakes. 7.3 earthquake, and I think it was Alaska. Yeah, Alaska. More earthquakes. Earthquakes everywhere. Earthquakes all around. Earthquakes everywhere. We're averaging like one major 7.5 earthquake every other week, killing 2 to 3,000 people. Okay, this is a lot. This is not normal. Okay. And if we look, the prophecy about an earthquake destroying, there is a prophecy. There's people that believe it, but it's not because it mentions it. It's like inferred. Okay, there are religious prophecies within Judaism and Islam surrounding the future destruction of the Dome of the Rock, with some Jews believing it will be a sign for the third temple to be built. The Dome of the Rock was destroyed by an earthquake in 1015, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so they're just basically saying, listen, there's a lot of people, not everybody, but there's a significant amount of people who believe that there will be an earthquake that will destroy the dome over the rock, and that will be the sign the Jews use to rebuild. Okay? Now, there's definitely a lot of earthquakes popping off right now that are unnatural that should not be popping off. Okay? So, the fault lines are active all around right now. Okay? And maybe that is also to throw off the non-believers, because if a prophesized earthquake happens, the non-believers could just be like, oh, but look at all these other earthquakes that happen too. It's just earthquake season. Get over it. You know what I mean? So anything to minimize, there's always, the non-believers always got to have some way out, I guess. All right. So that's that. Now, before the Jews build the third temple, though, because the tools they have to use to build it have to be purified by the red heifer. Okay? And I did a video on this about 5 months ago explaining all about the red heifer and how the Jews have all the red heifers. Now, allegedly, as of right now, the official statement from Israel is, oopsie, oopsie, we had 5 perfect red heifers. And we fucked around, and now we have none. And they're all disqualified forever and ever and ever. We'll have to restart all over again years from now. Oopsie! That's what they say. But there are reports that say otherwise. And I personally believe that the Jews did sacrifice the red heifer back in April, but they want to keep it under wraps because geopolitical reasons. All right? And if you want to see some evidence of this,
Red heifer sacrifice update. The recent red heifer sacrifice wasn't burned in a rehearsal. It was real.
The red heifer people, they fooled everybody.
So
what they did.
This is the actual ceremony, okay, of the red heifer. Now, Israel claims it was a practice run that we just did for fun.
Was they said, we're just going to do a practice one.
According to Adam King, he has the ashes.
Right here, red heifer ashes. They ended up going out, doing a real cow, and that's tikva. It was a real offering. They did it all by the laws.
Byron Stinson, the Christian evangelical Texas cattleman we interviewed in Christspiracy, whose segment was banned from theaters worldwide, raised the red heifers and flew them to Israel using government-backed loopholes and hundreds of thousands of dollars. He confirmed a perfect red heifer sacrificed in a perfect ceremony.
Now that this happened, the Messiah can come build the third temple.
So just know, the guy that gave them the 5 red heifers, or sold them to them and helped them get them over there and store all this stuff, he claims that ceremony was not a rehearsal. That was the real deal. And the Jews just don't want to say because geopolitical reasons. But they got it. They got the ashes right now. They've been using them for this and that, and they believe they're legit.
In Jerusalem.
This ritual is intended to restart the millions of bloody temple animal sacrifices, a system that Jesus and the Nazarenes turned the tables against. The priests trained for this ceremony were groomed from childhood, forbidden from going outside, and not even allowed to touch the earth.
They have to be of a specific bloodline. They raise these children in like these elevated homes above the ground, and they never leave the home until they're ready to do the rituals. So the priest who did this literally lived in his home for over 20 years.
Never left?
Nope, because he was born born to do this ritual.
Some say,
wow, just think about that. Dude stayed in his home for 20 years and never left because he was forbidden to touch ground, so he could just do this ceremony and be purified for it. Does that sound like an oopsie to you? It don't sound like one to me.
a twisted and deeply abusive path masked as purity. And this one cow, Tikva, flown from Texas, sacrificed in secret, is now at the center of prophetic claims and miracle rumors.
There's going to be miraculous healings as a result of this ritual.
Some, like Adam King, are claiming her ashes are healing people around the world.
This is the stuff right here. They have been sprinkling on people. A man with Alzheimer's who just started remembering everything, sight to the blind. There's some real miracles that have happened since this has gone down.
But the question is, would Jesus endorse child-groomed priests performing blood rituals to create ashes of healing? Or would he support a sacrifice that appears to have helped spark a war? Hamas stated that the October 7th attacks were, in part, a reaction to the red heifers.
True.
Which they believe were
They did
connected
say
to
that
plans
after they did it. I never heard anything before they did that, but after they did that, they threw that as a cab, like, oh yeah, and we also heard, and yeah, that was part of it too. Maybe, I don't know, but that's what they say.
to demolish the Dome of the Rock and rebuild the Third Temple, as publicly promoted on the Temple Institute's website, an organization that receives support from the Israeli government and evangelical Christians worldwide.
Israel should make the Gaza Strip a parking lot and get a great big missile and blow that wicked Dome of the Rock plumb off of the spot where it's standing right now, so we can get that.
And I say it's an earthquake, but you know what? For all we know, it could be a missile that got sent to Israel and just random chance takes out the Dome of the Rock. But I think it will be an earthquake because it kind of alludes. It kind of feels
Our
like
temple rebuilt and usher in the coming of Jesus.
This is exactly what Christspiracy exposes, that animal slaughter isn't just an ancient ritual, it's the foundation of a worldwide system built on blood and violence. From religious wars to industrial slaughter, from big pharma to government collusion, trillions of lives are lost each year in an industry fueled by exploitation, human trafficking, and modern-day slavery. Watch the full story uncensored. Comment Red Heifer and we'll DM you a link to stream Christspiracy now free. The truth must get out.
tempted. I believe that these guys know what they're talking about with this. It falls copaesthetically onto everything. You know, it fits the perfect timeline. Everything fits perfectly. But if you believe what the Jews are saying right now, that they made it oopsie, then everything's thrown out the window. So I don't believe that. Okay? So they have to sacrifice a perfect red heifer. And we kind of think they already have done that. It's already done. They got the ashes. They've already allegedly, secretly selected a high priest, but I haven't found any press statement of it, but I've heard rumors of it. They purified the tools. They're just waiting now for the government. In fact, one of the priests from the Sanhedrin, the organization overseeing this whole Third Temple, kind of misspoke. And during an interview like last month, he said, all we're waiting for now is the government's approval to lay the cornerstone. That's it. And then the guy is an Eli right now carving out the cornerstone with the tools during the old, because it has to, cornerstone is the most important one. It has to be like done perfectly. And so that's it. Could easily happen in a month, in a couple weeks if they wanted to. But I believe it's going to be December. Okay, I say it's going to be around December. An earthquake is going to hit Jerusalem and destroy, or at least heavily damage, the Dome of the Rock, and the Jews will take that as a sign and build the Third Temple. Okay, which will take probably about 6 to 9 months by accounts, by estimations. So once that happens, know this: once that happens and the Dome of the Rock is destroyed and Israel begins the construction of the Third Temple, that's it, baby. We're in the final stretch. We only have a matter of months until Putin's nukes rain down on the sky, causing a 5-month-long nuclear winter that kills 2/3 of all life on the planet. Okay, it's game on at that point. It's in the final stretch once that third temple begins construction. Okay, now you might be saying, but how would God make an earthquake to happen like that? First of all, God has technology. God is an alien. Okay, God are aliens that seeded life on this planet a long time ago. I don't. The Bible and a lot of religions claim that God created the earth and all life on it. I don't know if I buy that, but I 100% buy that God did create all of the crops that we use for food. He created all of the animals that we've domesticated, to be domesticated, like lambs, cows, sheep, goats, all this. They were made specifically for us to use for agriculture, okay? And all of these, crops like wheat and everything, as far as we know, really didn't exist like 50,000 years ago. I mean, they did, but they didn't look anything like they did now, and they weren't usable, okay? God created them in their modern incarnation for us so easily and readily to use them in agriculture that he taught us how to do. Um, all the ancient civilizations like Babylon, Assyrian, whatever, they all have like the same story. Egyptians, whatever. They basically say that their gods taught them how to do agriculture and to domesticate animals. Okay, their gods taught them how to live more than an animal, like a hunter-gatherer. Okay, how to live in like a civilization, a city, and make it work. Okay. All of the religions, the ancient religions, have the same origin story. Alien gods came down and taught us this stuff and gave us all this stuff, and we just went with it. It's all the same in every fucking religion, no matter what you go, when you go back far enough. It's all the same story, which should tell you something. Okay? Everybody's saying the same damn things. Odds are there's some truth to it. Now, this is, I think I put this in another video, but I'm going to do it again because it's so important. This is like 14 years ago, all right? Like 2011, back before CGI was in its, great incarnation, all right? This is back when people still had like camcorders rolling around, okay? This is before the smartphone, I'm pretty sure. Now, maybe the smartphone was 2008, so this would have been a couple years after the smartphone, but not much, all right? But
there's a new video this morning that some say may be proof we're not alone.
Let's turn this, all right? So this is a UFO, okay? An alien spaceship that just descends out of the sky, straight down, right over the Dome of the Rock. There's a dome over the rock, okay?
Of the Rock in Jerusalem. Bright light is seen descending over the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem.
The Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem, okay? Now it goes down there.
Then suddenly the light shoots up into the sky.
You see that?
There you see it.
Now this was captured by like 4 different people, 4 different cameras, and 4 different parts of the city, all seeing the exact same second play out, okay, from different angles. Once again, and these were all completely unrelated people. Like, I think some of them were from America, some of them lived in Israel. I mean, they were just a hodgepodge of all random people, okay? They were not buddies. They just happened to split up in different parts of the city and look at the same thing. No, they had no way they could have known each other, yet they all have the same video from different angles, okay?
Another video from a different angle appears to show the light doing the same thing. Those clips have gone viral.
So it just comes down, it hovers right over the dome over the rock. It just hovers right over it for just like 2 seconds, and then there's a big flash that appears. I don't know if you can see it here, but there's a flash, and then it just shoots straight up. It's done whatever its mission was. It came down, flash, gone. I believe that was God's angels that were manipulating the fault line over the Dome of the Rock so that it would be triggered at the exact moment that it would be appropriate for prophecy. Okay? So I believe that is when it was set. So like 14 years ago, okay?
Video from a different angle appears to show the light doing the same thing. Those clips have gone viral now.
And if you look at this, look at this. All the other lights are static, okay? They're just a blob. But this one is moving. It's like wiggling. It's like the light it's emitting is totally different, okay? Look at this.
Now.
Look at it. You see that?
Those clips have gone viral now.
Okay, you see how the light itself is just like, it's totally different from anything else in the screen, okay? Everything else is pretty constant. This is just straight up being contorted. It's doing something that's very, very unusual and odd by our laws of physics. I'm telling you, it's not a normal freaking light. Alright, so that is when I believe God's angels triggered the earthquake or put the timer on it to be triggered. Okay? So it's already done. It's going to happen. It's only a matter of the exact moment it's set to happen. Okay? And I believe that the moment will probably be coincidentally about when this bad boy, 3I Atlas, which is a space rock the size of Manhattan that's being hurled through our solar system currently, going very fast, like twice the speed of any other comet we know of. And they say that, I believe, December? Yeah, so I think December 19th is the date that it's going to be the closest. Solar elongation. The schedule to make its next observation in December at the comet's perihelion. So, when it hits closest to us, here's Earth. Here's where it's going to be closest to us when it intercepts Mars's thing. So the closest it's going to get to us is about the distance from us to Mars. It's not that close, guys. It's not going to hit us. It's not going to impact us. It's not a danger, okay? Excuse me. But brain damage, I got blown up in Iraq. Please apologize. But so around December is when it's going to be as close, like December 19th, if I'm not mistaken. But you could, December 25th, man, Jesus' birthday, Christmas. Who knows the date this is going to get crazy. But I believe our God loves the theatrics. He loves to have a show for the believers, and something that the non-believers really have to struggle to deny, okay? And there is this quote in Luke, or in the end days, there shall be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea of waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and looking after things which come of the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Okay? Now notice this. There shall be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. Okay? And we've had a whole lot of crazy, these last 6 years, we've had a whole lot of crazy solar eclipses, lunar eclipses, and there have been weird things happening to stars, like with the one solar eclipse that happened in America, where it was over the constellation of Cetus of the whale, referring kind of nod back to Jonas, when Jesus said, the only sign you'll get is that of Jonas, whale and the stars. It's a stretch, but Jesus loved to talk in parables. When he said things, he often meant them for the long run, not just for that day. Okay, and that's why I use parables, because they hold up better over time. Excuse me. So I believe when it's referencing "and in the stars," one of that signs that it's referring to is this bad boy right here. This giant space rock hurling from another solar system that, as far as we know, has only ever happened once before, and that was on Oumuamua, and that was just like a 200-meter long object. This is like a 5-kilometer long object, okay? Not the same ball field, okay? We could have survived a hit from Oumuamua. This bad boy hits us, dunsies. All life on the planet probably destroyed, except for maybe cockroaches, worms, maybe bugs. All right. So that is my prophecy. And now you kind of see the method behind my badness of what's going on here. All right. I'm officially sticking my neck out here. And I am prophesizing that around December, I don't know the exact date, but around December, there will be something, I think an earthquake most likely, that will destroy or at least heavily damage the dome over the rock, and that will trigger the Jews to build the third temple. And now we are finally, and after 6 long years, we are finally in the final stretch of this 7-year tribulation. I personally believe it's going to end about this time, actually, next year. There were rumors that there would be a rapture today, actually, September 23rd, 2025. Some pastors, I guess, claim they got visions of this. Possibly, but I believe they would have gotten the date wrong, where it's not September 23rd, 2025, but September 23rd, 2026. Then my timeline is perfectly in play, everything makes perfect sense, and it's all as I say it is. But if the rapture truly is today, then I'm off by a year, and that's a lot of time to be off by. Okay, to prophesize, that's a lot of time in the final day. So, I don't believe that's what's going to happen. I believe that the date of September 23rd, 2026 is 100% legit. I don't know about that exact date, but that timeline, perfectly in line with what I'm seeing. Okay, how I'm reading these signs and everything going down right now. Okay, now that's the deal. So, I guess we'll find out in just a few months from now whether I am delusional or crazy, insane, whatever words you want to attribute to me to write me off. It is what it is. But if come December an earthquake does what I say it's going to do to the Dome of the Rock, and the Jews start building the third temple, just know this is not a surprise to me at all. Surprise to you, not to me. I've been paying attention since day one, since the pandemic, and I'm sorry, I can't come to any other conclusion than we are in the Great Tribulation right now. It's game on. This is what it's all come down to. All of human civilization, all of us living as animals in sin. And now it's time for us to finally evolve one notch higher, closer to God's level of how things are done, and to finally start living more in accordance of how He wants us to live, okay? And not how we feel we should live to satisfy our animal urges, okay? So that's that. We'll find out. Time tells no lies. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Until then, adios, muchachos. I'll see you soon. I'm going to try and up my videos now to every week because I got so many things I got to talk about. God's been putting in my head that I kind of have no choice but to step up my timeline here based on the timeline that I know things are going down at. So expect me to be more and more active as time goes on, revealing more and more tidbits and knowledge about your God, what's to come, what to expect, what you can do, blah, 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 all these things that you would think are important if you actually believed me that we are in the tribulation and you care about your Creator's desires for you, which you should. Otherwise, I don't know. But till then, adios, muchachos.
Like, subscribe, submit.